Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live. Happy holidays. Thank you guys for joining me this evening. It's just a couple days before Christmas, Kwanzaa. There's a bunch of other holidays I know I'm forgetting, but thank you guys for your support over the past several months with my show. I'm truly appreciative of everybody tuning in and all my beautiful musicians for agreeing to be on my show. And tonight we have a really great guest. Her name is Nia Marie, and she just popped in the room. So Nia, if you could just invite yourself in, and I'll bring you on in. Nia Marie is a singer-songwriter based in New York City, but originally from Philly, and I'm really excited to have this chat with her tonight. So we're just going to bring her in the room really quick. Hi, Justin. Hi, Mike. Hi, Sosie. Thank you guys for joining me this evening. Hi, Nia!
Hi!
Happy holidays!
Happy holidays! We got our hats on.
Yes, tonight we both have Santa hats on because 'tis the season, right?
Exactly. We're 2 days away, people. 2 days.
I know, it's great. Already.
I know, seriously. This year has flown by, so.
It really has. So I was just introducing you to the room before you popped in. Singer-songwriter, originally from Philly, but now based here in New York City. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to have this fun little holiday chat with me. And you're also going to perform some songs for us as well. So very excited about that.
Yes, thanks for having me. Seriously, this is exciting and fun. I'm happy to be here, so.
Yes, thank you so much. So I start every show off with a song lyric. And the song lyric, sometimes it's just a random song lyric from a random artist, but I also like to do a song lyric from the artist I'm interviewing. And one of your songs actually went viral. I believe it was in June it went viral?
I think it was like around May or June.
Yeah.
I think it was probably, around June, I think, somewhere in summer.
Yeah. We literally just went January, February, March, December.
Honestly, though, but like, are we sad about it? 2020 can go, right?
Oh, I'm ready. I am so ready for like the next, some odd days, like 8-9 days.
Yeah.
And then 2020, like, yay!
Yeah, like finally, hopefully that's like all good news from there.
Exactly. So I'm going to share the song lyrics from Nia's song, Please Don't, that she wrote back in 2016. I have my hands up. Don't shoot, please. I am a father on my knees. I am a brother. I am a sister. I am a child. I am human just like you. I have fears and hopes too. I am a brother. I am a sister. I am a child. I am a child, so please don't. So for those people who are not familiar with this song, tell us just a little bit about the background on this song and what it means to you now in 2020.
Yeah, so I actually had written this little snippet of a song because I never really made it one full project, but I wrote it back in 2016, and that was after the murder of Philando Castile and how that shocked the world. And really, again, fast forward to 2020, we're still having the same stories. Yeah. We're still seeing the same things. So it really, at the time, was just me trying to get out how I was feeling, all of the fears, anxieties, and I truly just was really just trying to tell people in the simplest form, that didn't quite understand what people of color and minorities go through every single day. And to me, it was just like, how can I write something that's so simple that literally anybody could get, and it's straight to the point. So yeah, this was the song that I just felt it and was like, this is what I need to say. It's simple. Maybe somebody will get it and it'll touch somebody in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, after I wrote in 2016, I, posted it on Instagram and then did nothing with it. And then 2020 hits and everything happened over the summer. Breonna Taylor, mm-hmm. And George Floyd, and so on and so forth. I just posted it again, and this time I had written some string lines to it. This time I was like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna use the same exact thing because it's still here and relevant, and maybe just change it a bit and then see, hopefully, you know, again, this will actually make it to somebody's ears that truly needs to hear it, that really doesn't understand at all what we're saying to them or going through or anything. So yeah, so I really just did some more to it and then posted it, and I didn't expect it to go anywhere. Quite honestly, I was really just, you know, for my immediate people that follow me and, you know, friends and family, but it was really just I was just hoping that somebody that really didn't understand would hear it. So I'm happy that BuzzFeed, you know, picked it up, and it was great to, I mean, obviously not great for the circumstances, but
Right.
I was happy to be some sort of a voice in something that kind of seems so helpless to so many. I mean, for me personally, you know, I was figuring out, and I'm still figuring out, that the best way to contribute and do what I can, and spread awareness and education. So for me, this was one way that I felt like I was really doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I was being active in some way, shape, or form that could get to a larger audience somehow, some way.
Right.
But yeah, this song, this song was heart-wrenching for sure. And it definitely hit people harder than I thought it would, which I was, you know, it sucks, but I'm happy that it got to people and that the message could be spread. And yeah.
And I think it's such a simple song, but
Yeah.
seeing you, like when I saw your clip online of you singing it, and you're just like, I have fears and hopes too. I'm a brother, you know, I'm a sister, I'm a child. Like, yeah, like it humanizes it for people because you think of brothers and
Yeah.
sisters,
Yeah.
fathers and children, and it's like, we're all one.
Yeah, exactly. And that was
Yeah.
the message that I wanted to get across, was like, we are literally all the same people. We all have a, you know, someone that we know as brother or sister or an aunt and uncle. We have family. We all have family. And at the end of the day, we are all family. At the end of the day, we all bleed red. That is,
Yeah.
that is it. We are all bone, skin. That is literally all we are. We are human.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that song is the basis of that. It is that simple message of we are literally the same.
Yeah.
We are literally the same. We have the same things. So yeah.
And I think through the power of music, sometimes I think, you know, there was so much going on over the summer, right? With protests and songs and TV shows and specials and stuff like that, right? But I think the power of music just hits a little bit different.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
you hear something and you're like, I know exactly what she's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And the emotion too that it adds to it. And music, again, to be cliche, is that universal language. You know, we all understand it, no matter if it's in our own language or in a different language. Music makes us feel emotion. It makes us feel something. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, again, it's like that one thing that I look at as music is it can bring a deeper message to people. And
Right.
honestly, like when I like growing up, I listened to so much of that type of music, so much protest music and socially conscious music like Stevie Wonder, Michael
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, and Martin Gaye. Like my parents surrounded me, my mom specifically, she surrounded me with all this music, and I grew up like getting into songwriting. That was really what I wanted to do. Was I wanted to write songs that meant something and could change the world. And talking to my friend actually, and it's also cliche, but something that I said when I was in high school was like, as silly as it is, like I want to be able to change the world with the songs that I write. And it's a crazy statement, but you know,
It's
in
not,
some shape or form, like,
it's
yeah,
beautiful. It
thank
really
you.
is.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I was happy to be able to be a vessel for that song. So
Yes, it's amazing. And I know that you said that your goal, like you said earlier, is to change the world through song. And that's so powerful because when you think of Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, and you think of these legendary songs that were written so many years ago, but you hear them today and you're just like,
nothing has changed.
nothing has changed. And
Nothing.
I think that's great for legacy and songwriting. And then people can say, oh my gosh, I heard that song at this time in my life. And it really made me understand it more.
Yeah, exactly. It's again, it's universal, and it knows no time. It really does.
Mhm.
It, as we can see, it's still the same things being said, the same messages that have to be sent out. And that's why they've lasted for so long, because sadly, things haven't changed enough yet for those messages to seem so out of this world of like, why did people need to say that? Why didn't people understand that to begin with? You know,
Yeah.
so it's so necessary, and that's the type of stuff that I really like. So
Yeah. And I think with sadness and destruction and anger and all that come some of the best songs, unfortunately. Like you think of some of your favorite songs and you think of, oh my gosh, that person was going through something so traumatic, but look at this beautiful piece of art that we now have because of that. So I'm so happy that the creatives and the musicians that I've spoke to have written during this time, because it's
yeah,
like those times in history where hopefully we will never have to go through what 2020 has brought to us.
right,
And, but this is the time to be creative and just let it all out, because now
yeah,
all the time.
exactly. And that's the thing too. I surprisingly, it took me a long time to actually sit down and write something.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the beginning of all of this, I really was having severe like writer's block, and I wasn't thinking of anything. And then June hit, and all the protests, everything started happening.
Right.
Also, everything with COVID and all the nurses, all the first responders, all of that being hit so hard, and just people in general. So it was a lot of, I think, definitely trauma, societal trauma. We're watching the news all the time and like seeing what's going on around us. But I think it just took me a while for that to, subside and kind of morph into something else. And then finally I was able to start writing things. And yeah, it took a minute, but I'm happy that it finally broke through and that I was able to start writing some stuff. So.
And you do have some stuff coming up.
Yes, I do. It's honestly kind of on hold at the moment because of COVID.
Yeah.
And studios and stuff, they're in New York especially, they're starting to crack down on the amount of people and amount of sessions they're taking. But yeah, I do have at least 5 songs on the back burner that I'm super excited about. They're definitely more poppy songs than I've done before. Definitely way different than the last song I put out, which is Save Me. That was more like experimental pop R&B. But yeah, this stuff is going to be pop, and it's different, and I'm excited. And it kind of touches a little bit in every weird genre. So nothing sounds similar. I can say that for sure, but I'm definitely excited to get it out there.
Amazing. So guys, if you're not already locked in with Nia, please follow her, because she has some amazing coming in 2021.
Follow me. I promise I will get you the song soon. I promise.
So, born and raised in Philly, but now you live in New York. You said that you wanted to write songs from a young age. You also played violin and piano. What else drew you to music at this young age?
So yeah, again, it was listening to artists like Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder. Those are honestly the biggest influences. Like I can remember being a child and getting angry about something, and then the sound, like the bad soundtrack was going on in my head. Like that, that was me.
Yes.
I wanted to be as cool as him. And Stevie Wonder, just every song he ever wrote and has ever written and continues to write. But honestly, I started writing. I think I wrote my first song, like my first Christmas song when I was in like elementary school. And yeah, from then on, it was just being introduced to music so early. I wanted to be, I knew I wanted to write. Like I wanted to be that type of creative. I wanted to write the songs that my favorite artists were writing. And yeah, I just also on top of violin and piano, I was also in dance. So my life was pretty surrounded by music, and my parents made sure that I was deep in the arts and that I was busy, more importantly. So yeah, but that was really what got me started. And I started violin at 6, and it was, one of those things where your elementary school is like, you have to sign up for an instrument. So I picked violin, and that's how that started. So yeah, but it was really just, being introduced at such a young age, and, violin, piano, that kind of stuff. My parents just got me into it, and I never looked back. So
because they put you in something creative. They didn't just put you in like soccer or after school program. They like literally said like, oh, piano, violin, dance. Like be active, be creative,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
you know, rock out.
Exactly. Yeah. They wanted to keep me busy, so they definitely kept me busy for sure. But it was definitely fun. And I'm still with violin. I honestly haven't played in a while. But I still try to incorporate it where I can. So it's still there, still with me.
So earlier you said that you kind of are in the pop R&B realm. How else would you describe the music that you create?
Huh. Let's see. I guess I would say it kind of I'm not I guess I'm not the typical R&B artist.
Mhm.
I definitely lean more towards pop, if anything. Um, and I think a lot of the stuff that I write it's different in its own way. Um, like I will sometimes write a song and I will be like, this could be a country song. This, I don't know, fits my voice. It could actually be a country song. So,
Right.
yeah, and it's for that reason that I like just writing in general and just trying to ideally in my ideal world, I don't need to be an artist. I want to be a writer,
Mm-hmm.
straight up writer. Um, and I mean, personally, I've just always loved being behind the scenes, and I just love the creation of all of it.
Right.
And then, hearing somebody else sing your song, that's awesome.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I would definitely want to be, at the end of the day. But yeah, everything I write is kind of takes its own pathway. Definitely pop, but definitely different in its own way. So, and also the producers that I have, I absolutely love them. They're my best friends, and they also help really shape the stuff that I'm doing currently, and they give different light to it as well. So it's fun.
It's definitely important to have a good team behind you because I've had this conversation with other musicians before. Like, yes, your songwriting is here, but then the producer says, "Oh, but I hear it this way." And then you can kind of collab together and just be like, "Oh, okay, it brings new life when we do it this way."
Yeah, exactly. Like my last song that I put out, Save Me, that was the first song that I did with my producer when I moved to New York. And he is very experimental. He just does his own kind of thing. And it's the song Save Me, is completely out of my realm kind of, but also perfect for me. And totally just I didn't imagine it when I was writing it. And once he did it, it was like, duh, like this is the path it should have taken. But it's definitely awesome to have a good team behind you, and their ideas help so much, and when you can find somebody that melds with your ideas so well, it's a perfect match. So
Definitely, completely agree with that. What is your songwriting process like?
my songwriting process, I would say a lot of times I'm one of those people that will be like walking down the street, or I'll be in my room, or I'll be in the shower, wherever, and a random idea pops into my head. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I sing it in my head until I can get to my phone. And then, record it right there in the memos. But yeah, I really end up getting an idea on the spot. And then after that, and it's usually a chorus,
Mm-hmm.
actually, I start with the chorus. And then after I write the first verse and the chorus, I usually pick the chords after that, and then I finish the whole song. I know that a lot of people end up doing chords first and then lyrics second. Everybody's different, but yeah, I usually start with the chorus, and then I don't usually figure out the sound of it until later.
Hmm. Very interesting. So you said sometimes your ideas come in the shower?
Yes.
So there's people I know that they have one of those like whiteboards, like waterproof whiteboards in their shower. So when they have ideas, they just write it down.
I need to do that. I need
You're not like
life.
song over and over again, like, oh, blah, 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 and like, maybe you're in there for 10 minutes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I definitely speed up my shower after it. Like when I get an idea, I'm like, oh my God, I have to hurry up. Like I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. And the amount of times I have lost it sucks. But eventually, yeah, yeah. And like it's rough, but I need to get that. Now I know. So yeah.
You studied at the prestigious Berklee College of Music. What was the most memorable thing you learned?
Most memorable thing. Oof, that's a hard one. Um, I'd say, okay, I'll do two parts to this. While I was there, um, there are an insane amount of amazing musicians out there. um, and all so many so humble and so grounded. Um, and that the music industry is so much of a family at the end of the day,
Yeah.
which I really, really loved. And yeah, and I had, some great friends at Berklee, still do. So yeah, that was what I learned while I was there. It was the music industry is vast and there's so many things you can do in it as well. I'd say after I would say I learned um, not to hold yourself back. Because I would definitely, when I started out, writing and really writing in high school and everything. And then I had violin and all of that. But while I was at Berklee, I was really, quiet and really to myself. And I did not put myself out there while I was at Berklee. That's the one thing that, I wish I was, better at taking chances back then and a little more comfortable in my skin kind of deal. And it wasn't until after college where I kind of, sort of blossomed into the person I am now. And, still figuring that out as the days go. But I definitely, was afraid. And my anxieties definitely took the best of me. And my anxieties still, to this day kind of take the best of me. But if anything, I learned that I have got to stop, not taking the chances, because as I'm getting older, in the industry, but yeah, it's definitely just letting my anxieties go. And that while time isn't necessarily short in the industry, you still, it is at the same time. You have to move quickly. You have to figure out what you want to do. You have to have a plan. And being afraid isn't really an option.
Yeah.
You gotta just do it. And while I still definitely fight with that every single day, and while my anxieties are through the roof all the time, and my imposter syndrome is very real, I have learned to, and also have people surrounding me that are like, you just need to do it, which is great. So yeah, it's really just letting my anxieties go. It's that I don't have time for my anxiety to let them take control. So yeah.
Right, because there's opportunity everywhere. And I think when I think of like my high school and college days, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wish I could have done this or that, or talked to more people, gone to more like after school programs. But I think with your alumni association and the amount of people that have gone to Berklee, like when you talk to the alum at your school, it's like you feel closer to them instead of just like, oh, I went to Penn State or Cornell or whatever. Like you're like, I went to Berklee, so we kind of have this huge connection together.
Yeah, exactly. And then at some point in time, you're bound to meet somebody, no matter what you're doing in the industry, you're bound to meet somebody that actually went to your school. And that's already happened to me like 10 times over. So it's so small. The music industry it's small. Yeah. It is very small, and you will eventually see these people again. So yeah, we're family.
Yeah. And even alum, like maybe, you talked to an alum from 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 2 years ago, like just because you weren't there at the same time studying doesn't mean you can't start a relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the cool thing too, actually, which is really funny, my boss that I also work with at, she's from Berklee.
Cool.
And we had legit no idea, like signing up for this job. I was like, okay, cool. And she's like, yeah, I went to Berklee. And I was like, wow. So, this is like, I think back in the 90s, and then, now. So it's once we're Berklee students, we're family.
Yeah.
Kind of stuck with each other. We're stuck with each other. So yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned something about anxiety. How do you deal with anxiety? I think right now it's such a common issue, but I would love to know how you deal with it and what advice you can give people in general?
Yeah. I will be very honest. I'm still figuring that out. But things that I've realized for me personally, I have been able to pinpoint what causes my anxieties. I guess I'm more aware when I'm feeling it and when it pops up and why.
Yeah.
And I've also been able to, look back at my past and look back at the past traumas I've had and, kind of put the pieces together as to why this is this way and why, But, right now I am making sure I surround myself with great people. B, communicating. Therapy is great. Therapy. I'm honestly also though still on my journey to finding a great therapist, my own therapist. But highly recommend. And I think I'm finally in that headspace of, being like, okay, this is actually going to help me progress in my life. And honestly, it'll take a huge weight off of my shoulders.
Right.
So yes, that one. Two, my best friend, her name is Heather, and she honestly, we talk about literally everything and anything at any time. And just having, her there and, helping me through whatever I'm going through at the time is great. Just having, that support system is super important. And again, I have that with my parents as well, which I'm very lucky and very fortunate that I can talk to them about stuff. But yeah, that support system is very important. And then also just writing out your feelings. I am able to do that with songs. Yeah. And also sometimes I do journal because at Berklee, honestly, this is when I first learned it, we would just object write and just write about literally anything and then just let your mind wander and see what happens. So doing that honestly just lets me get out whatever emotion, thoughts I'm having. And yeah, it just like lets you kind of let go of whatever is going on in your mind. And then there's other days where anxiety is not gonna let you do what you want it to do.
Right.
So it's really figuring out how to befriend it and work through it, which is a thing. And feel like little things like I'm fine right now. Like this is where I'm at. I'm home. I'm safe. Little things like that. It's just realizing your surroundings and helping talk yourself through it also. Really. So, but yeah, anxiety is one of those things that doesn't really go away, but you learn how to cope. So it's really just, befriending it and figuring out what silences it more.
That brings me to another point. Do you ever watch Oprah's like Super Soul Sunday?
I haven't, no, which I'm really
You need to watch. So good. Podcast. It's amazing. I think it's on the OWN network, but there's like you can watch like YouTube videos. There was someone on it. Her name is Glennon Doyle, and she was talking about when she goes through difficult things. It's kind of like when you're in your apartment, right? And somebody knocks on the door and they're like, oh, I'm anxiety, I'm fear, I'm anger. And you're just like, okay, I'm scared to open that door, right? There's fear, anxiety, anger, whatever it is, right? On the other side of that door. But you need to like open up the door and just be like, okay, I'm ready for you. Like, I'm ready.
Exactly. You just have to take the stance, be ready, and be prepared for what's coming at you.
Yeah. And definitely, I'm going to send you the link after we get off of this. I'm going to send you, because Glennon Doyle, she's also an author, and a lot of people have read her book over this quarantine. But yeah, she's an author, and she's just so well-spoken, and I think you would really love her.
Yeah, no, send it over. I'm happy to take all the information I can. So
of course. A few of your influences, like you said earlier, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Jill Scott. What about these musicians inspire your current career?
The lyrics in their songs. I will always aspire to write something like Earth Song and Nobody Really Cares About Us, and oh god, I'm blanking out on the Stevie Wonder song. I didn't even know it was a thing until till quarantine happened. it's gonna drive me nuts. But it's this amazing Stevie Wonder song that is literally perfect for the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really their lyrics and what they, when what their co-writers and them wrote about, and how they were different for their time as well.
Mm-hmm.
They were super unique, and there wasn't really anything like either of them.
Right.
And they kind of paved their own ways in the pop and R&B realm. So yeah.
Mhm. And so many people aspire to be like them. Like when I speak to musicians, they're always like Stevie, Michael Jackson, like, and you think of it and they're like, they're such heavy hitters. And when
Yeah.
you go and you listen to their music and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
right? And you're
Right.
just like, oh my gosh, like the way they express themselves through song is just remarkable.
Exactly. And I could only dream of being at like one tiny droplet of that.
On your way.
Thank you. But yeah, they're amazing. And yeah, if I can write anything like that,
Yeah.
I'll be happy. So, yeah.
What musicians would you like to collaborate with?
Okay. Let's see. Well, I guess right now it would be Julia Michaels.
Yeah.
Great songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Great songwriter. And I love her music. And then also I think her as well.
Oh, yes.
She would be amazing to work with.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the two right now. I'll probably come up with another one later.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you covered songs by her and Dua Lipa. What are your favorite songs to perform and why?
I would say my favorite song at the moment is Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually one, well, I'm gonna actually sing that one. And it's actually one that I haven't released yet and that I'm working on. And that will be one of the ones that I put out next year. But that one was something that I wrote literally after a crazy relationship that I was in. And it was basically all the emotions put into one song. And it was the first time I ever sang that song live. And I honestly haven't performed live very much. I had started performing live right before everything had hit. And, so I've only really had a few shows live. But Fighter was definitely that song that I was like so happy to finally get out there and just let out all of the emotions that I had. So yeah, and it's a fun song, but it's also a hard hitter, which I really like. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And there's something about writing the song and then performing it in front of the audience because it's like you see the look on these people's faces.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's the way you feel when you perform the song.
Yeah. So it's fun, and that one I just really love the message of it. I love the message of it so much. So yeah, I think that's probably the one.
Mm-hmm. What artists or genres of music have you been listening to in 2020?
It has been thinking back to my Spotify playlist. Kevin Garrett is one. Absolutely love him.
Yeah.
Love everything he puts out. Dua Lipa, her, and who else? Trying to think of like my top artists that I was listening to. Yeah, I think it was really like those three. That was like the top. And then obviously Julia Michaels and Lennon Stella.
Yes.
Love her.
Amazing.
Love her lyrics as well. She's phenomenal. So yeah, it was a lot of that. A lot of pop this year. And also I honestly found myself towards the end of I guess kind of towards the middle of the year because of quarantine. I had a weird thing where I guess, and also a lot of other people did the same thing because of the way, the industry was kind of hit with COVID. But I found myself listening to music less because I was no longer commuting and
Yeah.
it's home. And then also I was home, like I was home for so long back in Philly that it's just, I, you know, I was home. And I didn't have my setup that I have in New York. So like it was totally different. So I found myself like falling off a bit, and I was like, wow, I really need to listen to something so that I know what's going on in the world. I don't know like who's on the come up that I have literally no idea. But yeah, so it was definitely weird in that sense because I just didn't listen to nearly as much music as I usually do. Which then I changed because I was like, you know, I'm in the industry, I should probably start listening more.
I know.
Yeah.
Because when I think of when I used to listen to music, it would be right before I leave my apartment, while I was on the train, on the subway, walking to work, turn it off when I get to work, and I'm like, okay, and then my commute home. So it's like,
Literally.
yeah, so I'm like, okay, so now I gotta like find ways to weave music into my life.
Yeah. It's so strange because yeah, it's just, we're so used to having it on all the time, and now it's like
Exactly.
now you don't just go to a speaker, or you're like have your like computer playing with music, which is weird. And it's like it's one of those things that I'm like, wow, like I should really do that more. I should really do that more. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it was weird.
What song do you wish you wrote and why?
Oh God. Oh, so many. um, I I think. See, I feel like I'm gonna think about this later, and then I'm gonna be like, I should have said this one. um. Oh God. Everything keeps coming back to Michael Jackson. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm obsessed with Michael Jackson, so you can say Michael Jackson for every answer.
Yeah, but I think it would probably be right now. It's probably going to be They Don't Really Care About Us.
Yes.
Because that song, well, first of all, the drum line in that song, great, but just the lyrics and also just how he sang it, it just every single time I put that song on, it gets to me every time. But then it's also like I could also combat that with Earth Song because no one was really, I mean, not that I know of that I was listening to back then, but nobody had really, you know, gotten a song to that point,
right,
about straight up about the Earth that I had heard, and it was just flawless. And that was like one of those songs where I watched the music video when I was little and cried. You know, it was that kind of thing. So it would probably be one of those, but you know, I'll probably think of something else.
it's because I love that you said Michael Jackson, because when I think of his music over the years and the albums and the singles and the B-sides, I'm like, so much amazing music. And when you listen to that music, it transports you back to when you were younger.
Exactly.
A different time for the industry, right? Because Quincy Jones had worked with Michael so much. And I'm like, these songs are so amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
They're so different. And there will never be anything else like them. Ever.
They were just such an incredible duo. Please, I know there are people in this chat love Michael Jackson, but please go back and listen to Michael Jackson stuff from like the 80s and 90s, because it's
seriously.
And when you hear it in 2020, it just hits you and you're like, yes.
Yeah. You're like, oh my God, those lyrics though.
Yes.
Every time.
Yes, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to other musicians during this quarantine?
It would probably be write your butt off. Be better than I have. Write your butt off. Planning for, which is what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to plan for, you know, just the releases that I want to put out, and kind of just getting release plans ready and that kind of deal. But yeah, and just putting music out, which also do better than I am. But yeah, just put music out, you know, just, I know that so many people have been sitting at home or sitting in their apartments and just writing away. And it's like, don't let those songs go away, you know, just make sure you record them and get them out there, because I'm sure they're amazing. And also,
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to have like a whole entire EP or album. So
Yeah, all we have is time now. It's like we've all just been sitting in the apartment and we're just
exactly.
like, okay, when are we going to be able to go outside now?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, yeah. And then also I'd probably say challenge yourself to write one socially conscious song.
I love that.
Yeah. Because I think right now, again, like it goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning, is just, we have the power to create change, and we have the power to spread a message literally across the world, and have other people in other countries singing it, whether they know what it means or not.
Right.
So I think just honing in on that power and that talent and using it for a different platform is great. And I think it's something, as musicians, we kind of have, we have the right to do, and something that we should be doing. So.
Definitely. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Oh God. I don't. So many things. Probably. Okay, actually, probably it's don't listen to the imposter that's up here. I have serious imposter syndrome, and that's what stopped me from doing so many things. And honestly, I was taking a slam poetry class at Berklee, because that's actually my minor. Funny enough. But I was taking a slam poetry class, and our teacher Caroline, she taught us about the imposter syndrome and what it was. And I had never really thought about your doubts, your self-doubts, as an actual thing that you could visualize.
Yeah.
But having that said, and diving into that and learning about it, I was able to pinpoint it and be like, okay, this is what's happening right now. This is the imposter that's like trying to tell me that I'm not good enough. I have literally no idea what I'm doing, and all that. So it was not listening, or it was more befriending the imposter, and just learning how to talk to it and say, I mean, not sound crazy, but but tame it. And
yeah. Because I've dealt with that as well, and I've heard things where it's like, don't let them live rent free in your head. Like,
exactly.
They're paying rent, so let them, let that thought, like, put it over there.
Yeah, exactly. So learning about that honestly really helped me a lot. And I mean, it definitely didn't, obviously it's not going to silence it, but completely. And I struggle with it, like I said, day to day. But I'm trying very hard to not let that, control what I'm doing, which is what I did at Berklee. I let it control a lot of what I did and didn't do. So yeah, definitely learning that was just great, and a really great thing to take with me through life. So definitely that.
So somebody in here also went to Berklee, and she goes, would love to hear what Caroline said to you about imposter syndrome, because it's real. She didn't talk about her class. So if you want to just kind of shed some light on that.
Okay. So basically she said, it's imposter syndrome is that little tiny voice in your head that's it's all the doubts. It's all the doubts that you have, saying that you're not good enough, that you can't do this, that you don't fit in, that you are too different, all these things, jumbled up. And it's basically taming it is understanding what's being said, and then kind of just putting it in a little tiny vault and pushing it to the side and being like, okay, I am feeling like I am absolutely terrible. Why do I feel like I'm terrible? There's literally no reason for me to feel that way. I have all of these qualities.
Yeah.
So why do I feel like I don't fit in here? Yeah. And it's really awareness. It's really just, it's awareness. And again, just like anxiety, it's a part of that. So it's really just honing in on that and speaking to it.
Also, the voice in our head sometimes is so negative and angry. And it's like, would I say that to my best friend?
Yeah, that's great. Exactly.
No, would my best friend say that to me? No. So it's kind of like, you just have to be like, what would I say to my best friend if she said she was going through exactly the same thing? And I try to tell myself that as well, because I'm like, I would never say those words out loud to my best friend.
Yeah, no, and that's great. That's great. Honestly, also gonna use that as well, because it's one of those things. It's like one of those things where you don't take your own advice.
Exactly.
So I am queen of that.
Yeah.
I can walk someone through a hard time, and then it comes to me, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna do all the things I shouldn't do. Yeah. So so yeah, it's definitely that's a great tool too. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing what that means and
Yeah.
clarifying us. So now is the time of the show where Nia is going to perform for us. But Nia, before we get into song, can you just write your Venmo in the comment section?
Oh, yes.
Any of you love people in this
I
room?
have to like that
No?
was the chair people, I swear. Let's see. Okay.
And guys, if during Nia's performance you have any questions that you want to ask her, please put them in the chat below and we will get to your questions after.
Yes. Ask me anything, everything. I will tell you all the things. Okay.
Thank you guys for joining us this evening. Happy holidays. I hope you guys are wearing your Santa hats with us.
Yes. Thanks for
out
tuning in, guys. Really. Okay. I think
that's you.
Yes, that's me. That is me. Okay. So let's do this. I'm gonna get some tea here. But yeah, seriously, thank you guys so much for tuning in and for your questions. And I got some songs for you. So hope you like them. This first song is called Your Love. This is one of the first songs that I put out with my producer that I work with in New York. His name is Beat Street Groove. You should go follow him as well. But yes, this was just a really fun pop song that I really love to sing. So hope you like it. You got your style, you got your class, you got the hip hop and laid back time to step back and relax on you got your cool right down pat until I move a little closer, get toasty up in here. Preview what you're working towards. Got your eyes on this, and it should be on my heart. Oh, I'm so tired of love, the only one. I only want your love. I only want your love. I only want I only want your love. I only want your love. You got your smooth talk over rehearse. Let's talk about how hard you work for my love, my attention. You got your ego to match your high tops to match your tall walls that you forgot made of glass. Now, baby, see right through them. Now watch me break them down. Preview what you're working towards. Got your eyes on this, and they should be on my heart. Oh, I'm so tired of love, the only one. I only want your love. I only want your love. I only want I only want your love. 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 I'm too tired of love, the only one. I only want your love. I only want your love. I only want I only want your love. I only want your love.
Yes, thank you. Someone in the chat said, lower the music a bit. I want to hear you more.
Oh, got it.
Thank you for the heads up on that.
Yeah.
Sometimes-
Okay, should I go into the second one?
Yeah, take it away.
Cool. Okay, so this one, the second one is called Fighter. This is not out yet. Oh, also, I should say, Your Love, which I just sang, is out everywhere on all platforms. It is way different than this. This is the acoustic version, so I really hope you like the real version. But yes, Fighter. This song, like I said earlier, was made, I wrote this after a crazy, crazy relationship. And basically, it's about being with somebody that, you know, for better or worse, makes you a fighter, and kind of changes you and morphs you into this person, this new person. But in this instance, it's, you know, better. You're better off for it. And while it was crazy and not fun to go through, at the end of the day, you are now better off, and you've learned how to take the negative and change it and make yourself better for it. So yeah, this is Fighter. Boy, I know you're trying to say shit. Why don't say it to my face? I got tough as you, boy. I'm not trying to run away. You think I'm bad as Michael Jackson, but too drunk to stand up on your toes. I'm as tight as what would you say? And I won't hold my breath that you ever change. And I'll stand my ground. Got my fighting gloves on and they won't go away. Baby, you made me a fighter. A fighter. You made me a fighter. A fighter, you made me a fighter, a fighter, you don't want this fighter, fighter. I was the girl who hated attention, so how'd I end up dating you? I tell myself I wouldn't bend to your will, 'cause being fed up changed my view. You think I'm bad as Michael Jackson, but too drunk to say anything true. I'm as tired as what you said. And I won't hold my breath that you ever change. And I'll stand my ground. Got my fighting gloves on and they won't go away. 'Cause baby, you made me a fighter, a fighter. You made me a fighter, a fighter. You made me a fighter, a fighter. You don't want this fighter, fighter. I don't need your love. I don't need you. I don't need your love. I don't need your love. I don't need your love. I don't need you. I don't need your love. I don't need your love. I don't need your love. I don't need you. I don't need your love. I don't need your love. I don't need your love. Oh, fighter. Fighter, you made me a fighter, a fighter, you made me a fighter, a fighter, you don't want this fighter, fighter.
That was Fighter. And when does that come out?
2021. Still waiting on the date. But I'm super excited about it and I really hope you guys love it. It's honestly way different, but way bigger than I could have ever imagined. And it's a really good one. So follow me to find out when it comes out, because I'm so ready to put it out. You have no idea.
Michael Jackson lyric in there. What?
Yeah. I did. I had to put a reference to bad in there, you know?
So what exactly did you say? Because you said Michael Jackson. I was like, what'd you say then?
So you think you're bad as Michael Jackson, but too drunk to say anything true is the second.
Oh.
Yes. So,
yes.
So bad is in, you know, the actual record bad. And
right.
And saying he thinks he's as cool as him, but he's really not. And then the other was, you think you're bad as Michael Jackson, but too drunk to stand up on your toes. So, yeah. So again, saying you think you're so bad, but actually you can't even do that. You're too drunk to do that. So
exactly. Well, I'm sorry that you went through such a horrible breakup, but there is such a beautiful song that evolved.
Exactly. It was worth it in some way, shape, or form. So
in some way.
Yeah.
So guys, if you have any questions for Nia Marie, please put them below. And her Venmo's here. So please, if you're able to, please Venmo her. So there was a question. Where would you like your career to be in 2 years?
In 2 years. Let's take the small goal at a time. So my goal actually for this year was to start performing in New York. So I did actually hit that, which I was happy about. But then, you know, pandemic hit. Right. It is what it is. But in 2 years, I would say I would. My biggest thing is just expanding my following.
Yeah.
Because I would like to get these heard by somebody. By more people at least. So definitely that. But in 2 years, I think really just continuing to perform, and ideally I would like to be writing for other artists. So in 2 years, if I can do that, I will be very happy. So yeah.
So for everybody that's in this chat and that's going to watch the replay, how can we support you as an artist?
Definitely when it comes to listening to music, streaming music, follow on Spotify, follow me, because it definitely helps with streams, and following me on Instagram, just following on socials, definitely. And just sharing music with anybody you think will love it. And just continuing to follow and stay tuned for what's coming next. And I promise it's going to be great, and I'm excited. So yeah, share it.
Other than Instagram, where else can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook, and then Spotify, Apple Music, all of the things. I'm lame and I don't have a Twitter.
Okay, Twitter, literally, trust me, I follow people on Twitter, and sometimes they just talk a bunch of crap, and sometimes it's like not even worth it.
Yeah, I'm like,
so it's totally fine.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel so old, but I just straight up never got one. I was like, I don't feel like saying everything I have to say.
Honestly, you're not missing that much.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Perfect.
You're not much. I think with musicians, when I think of platforms you need to be on as a musician, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, because the thing is, musician, it's like, we want to hear you, we want to see you.
Exactly.
Because when we don't hear and see you, we forget about you. So it's kind of like you always need to be, and I'm not saying every single day, but you want to post like something like once or twice a week.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know? Just because we're like, oh my God, this is a really cool song. Or maybe it was like a 14-second video when you talked about your songwriting process. Or maybe it was just you covered, I don't know, a Lady Gaga song. And someone's like, oh my God, that's so cool. Because you just never know who can really see that.
Right, exactly. And hey, we met. So it's, You never know who's watching. So
you never know who's watching, and you never know who you can collab with, especially because Instagram has such a great force. Like there's so incredible people all over the world on Instagram, and you just never meet, a singer or a producer or another. You just never know.
You never know. It's awesome. It's awesome for being collaborative. So yes, Instagram. Oh, also I do have a website as well. It's niamariemusic.com. So yes.
So as far as bucket list venues you'd like to perform at, which venues are those?
Oh God, I don't even know. It's one of those it's one of those things where it's like if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
I guess just dreaming small here. I just want to get to more popular venues in New York. Like, God, haven't been to one in so long.
Right. Yeah, because everything's
really sad.
like we hope that these venues are still going to be there.
I know. Yeah, and that's a sad thing.
I
That's
know.
a sad thing. We really don't know what's going to be there at the end of all of this, which hopefully there's an end soon. But yeah, God, I really don't really have a name. I don't really have one that I like specifically. I'm like, yeah, I really want to do that.
All of them.
Yeah, basically all of them.
All of them. They're all on the list.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I wasn't really, yeah, like I said earlier, I wasn't really performing before this year. It took me, you know, up until this year to finally put myself out there. And when I finally got settled in New York too, it was like, all right, let's do this. So I will perform wherever I can. And hopefully that continues to get better. Yeah, hopefully that continues to get better as it goes. But, you know, once venues are hopefully open and we're good to go again, wherever I can. So
awesome. I can't wait to see you. It's going to be so amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening, especially during the holiday season. Thank you for agreeing to do this. We had such a beautiful and inspirational and amazing conversation. I just want to thank you so much for your time and sharing your gift of music. And please continue to write beautiful songs, because those are the songs that really stick with us.
Yes. Thank you so much. So much for having me. Seriously, this was amazing. I had so much fun. Thank you for everybody that tuned in and was commenting. And I hope that I can speak to you guys separately soon or one day or whatever. But yes, thank you so much for this. It was fun.
Thank you so much again. I appreciate you and your time and your beautiful voice. And if you don't already, please make sure to follow Nia Marie here on Instagram. And please make sure to follow me, because I do Vibin with Ashley live all the time. I interview incredible musicians, and Nia is just one of the many that I've interviewed. So please give Nia a follow, and we look forward to seeing what's next on the adventure.
Thank you so much. Yes, I can't wait to share my new music with you. So I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Any final words?
No, everybody have a great and happy holiday, whatever you celebrate. Stay safe, wear a mask, and hope to see you all in 2021. And yeah, let's hope for a really good year. We need it. So
it's gonna be amazing.
Yes, it is. It is. We're just gonna speak it into existence. It's gonna be great.
It's happening.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays. Wear a mask, support good music, support your local venues, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Exactly. Bye.